In this episode of Growing Your Sense of Self Through Self-Defense, I'm going to talk about the second separation individuation phase. Now, in an opening seminar, or introductory seminar, I talked about the first separation individuation phase. It starts around 4 or 5 months, 6 months, lasts till about 2 years old. Prior to that, the child is this undifferentiated ego mass, right? Egocentric, I am the world, right? There is only existence, only me. Everything's an extension of me. And during that phase, they separate and individuate and recognize there are other people in the world. Mom's not an extension of me. She's her own individual. So is dad, so is the dog, whatever. In the second separation individuation phase, which culturally we've actually extended from our natural physiology, starts around puberty and runs till around 25-ish till we become independent, separated, individuated from our parents. This phase is becoming our own adult. First one was becoming our own being, or a distinct human. Now we become our own adult. And it's a difficult and now an extended phase for multiple reasons. It has become more difficult, in part because of this epidemic we have of low sense of self. One of the factors that feeds into it, I didn't talk about it in an introductory seminar, is for about the past 100-ish years, we take people in that phase and put them all together in schools. So rather than learning from, as an apprentice, from a master or from uncles and aunts and older cousins and stuff, extended family who was nearby, these young people are learning how to be an adult from other young people who are ignorant about being an adult, who never were an adult. It'd be like trying to learn how to play tennis, hanging around with only other people who don't know how to play tennis and trying to learn how to do it. Now, you would like an instructor who really knows how to play the game and can instruct in the game. But we tend to push these kids together and let them figure it out, and they're operating with fewer tools because of the epidemic of low sense of self, because we parented them as infants in ways that went against our physiology and against their physiology. So what I'm going to do something different in this episode. I'm going to talk to any viewers who are in that second separation individuation phase, somewhere around 14, which is on the young side to be start doing this program. Maybe a little bit too young, but perhaps you can grasp, till around 25-ish, somewhere in that phase. And my comments will be directed at them. For people who are not in that phase, what my intention is for them to learn about what it is being in that phase today, what it may be like, so they can understand better, whether they have kids in that phase or they just, whether they're nephews, nieces, or they just know neighbors, know people in that phase. This will help them understand and be able to relate better to people who are going through second separation individuation phase. Now, I work with a lot of people in that age range because of the program that I offer, because of the instruction I do at a martial arts school, nephews and nieces, neighbors. There's a lot of people in that phase that I deal with. And I understand a lot of where they're at, and if you ever parent one, you'll understand it too. So they know everything, and you don't know nothing, and there's that button heads. Well, to be their own adult, they have to, by necessity, separate and individuate from you as a parent, which leads to some of this rebellious acts and things like that. They don't get along with it, you get fights and whatever. They have to be able to be distinct from you. They are not an extension of you. That's not what nature intended. They need to be able to be different from you. And to be different, you will sometimes have these conflicts. So, when you're in that phase, and you think people that are older than you, they don't know nothing, right there. I mean, you're 20 years old, 19 years old. Think that what these guys don't. I mean, these old fogies, whatever. They don't know the latest social app. They don't know the games that we play. They don't know the music that we listen to, the styles that we. They don't know the language that we talk with, the the slang that we use. They don't know nothing. So let me ask a couple questions of you. First, if if a 14-year-old came to you as a 19-year-old and said, you know, you don't know nothing. You don't know what it's like being 14. You're not 14. You haven't been 14 in a long time. For them, that's 5 years is a long time. It's a third of their life. So they write you off. What would be your response to the 14-year-old writing you off as a 19-year-old? Know nothing, right? It'd be a joke to you. Yeah. The people who are 10, 20, 30, 40 years older than you, they've been where you are. The details about what music and what fashions and that kind of stuff, that stuff's not important. That stuff's not relevant. Going through that phase, yeah, they did that. They've been there, they've done that years ago, and they've seen other people do it. They know way more than you know. You might catch up in time, but right now, no, you're the ignorant one, not them. And put it this way too, think about yourself in 10 and 20 and 30 and 40 years. You think you'll be smarter and more aware then than you are right now? Or are you going to get dumber? You're going to get stupider as you get older? No, you're going to get wiser. These older adults are wiser than you. They may not know the gimmicky things that the fashion du jour, but so what? That's not what's important. Relationships, what it means to grow out of the phase that you're in, that stuff is important. How to become an adult, that stuff is important. They know that. They may not have navigated those waters successfully, but you can learn from other people's failures too. They know that. You don't. You're learning it. And you ain't going to learn it from other people who are peers who are trying to learn it as well. You're not going to learn it well. So, one of the things that most adults, if you were to ask them beyond that phase, where in their life did they make what they would consider like their biggest mistake or mistakes? Well, if they're honest with you and open with you, it'd be in the phase you're in right now. Right? Addictions, this is when they start to occur. You know, choices that you make that, you know, maybe somebody gets pregnant or you get in a relationship that wasn't a good one or you start a pattern of bad relationships. This is when they're starting in this phase. Diseases you might get, arrests you might have and carry a criminal record because you did something stupid as a kid. You bear that the rest of your life, right? It can impact the rest of your life. The choice of suicide or attempting suicide, that's with you the rest of your life. These choices that you make, your personal history, is not just something, yeah, that was in the past, it's gone. No, it's with you all the time. All the choices you make, wherever you're at in the future, it's a conglomeration of what all came before. So to think like, well, I can be irresponsible now because I'm not yet an adult, I'm getting there. No, the irresponsibility impacts what you'll be in the future. It's not the time to be irresponsible. You are an adult in training. See yourself that way. Imagine if you had kids looking up to you or younger siblings and stuff. Act in ways, behave in ways, be ways that you would want them to see you and, yeah, I admire that guy. Yeah, that's something I would strive to be like. Not irresponsible. Just because you have less responsibility than a full adult doesn't give you carte blanche to be irresponsible. Yeah, I want to get drunk and stuff now so in the future I get out of my system. Yeah, you'll carry that in the future. The stuff that you do now, it will weigh on you in the future. This is the time when people make the bad decisions, their worst decisions that impact their life, their whole life. So carry this, recognize the gravitas of the situation that you're in right now. It is a major deal. You got hormones flaring and all this stuff, and it's tougher to be rational, to be focused. You necessarily have to be somewhat self-absorbed because this is you growing out. But being somewhat self-absorbed doesn't mean you can't still be circumspect, that you still can't assume the mantle of, I am an adult in training. I take that responsibility seriously. It's not time to do whatever the heck I want because I'm not yet an adult. That's a mistake. Now, if you're engaged in this program, that's a huge benefit, a huge good decision that has been made. And if you can lay groundwork of strengthening your sense of self at this age, of overcoming what might have been part of the epidemic that we're imposing on our young, we as older adults, that's a very good thing. Feather in your cap for that. So build on that. You can be different from your parents in a better way, right? There may be mistakes that they have made that you don't have to make. That's a difference from them. That's defining yourself differently. If they're irresponsible in some ways, be more responsible in those ways. That's a positive you can be, and that's something that you'll carry in a positive way the rest of your life. Yeah, they're a smoker or a drinker. Okay, I'm going to do them both. I'll show them, or I'll do meth or something else, and be different from them. No, that's not a good choice, right? Being different doesn't mean just be different for different sake. What you want to be is healthier. That's what I mean by better. Healthier. So, generations tend to want their children to have it better than they did. That's what an adult wants, a parent wants, that their kids have it better than them. We usually translate that into money. You know, if I had to be working hard in 50, 60-hour weeks, I don't want my kid to have to do that. I didn't go to college, I want my kid to be able to go to college. Okay, we look at it those ways. But really the core, the most important thing, is health. And in all its aspects, not just physical health. So, seeing yourself as an adult in training, as a responsible person who's looking to become a responsible adult, a healthy adult, is a very good thing. Something within your reach. It's a tough thing because the adults that are around, we don't really do this kind of mentoring or a master and apprentice kind of relationships, so it's tougher. And plus of the epidemic of low sense of self, it might be tough to find adults who are healthy adults, fully healthy adults, that you can learn what it means to be a fully healthy adult from. So there's a challenge for you to sort of bootstrap into that without a lot of help, sad to say. We let you down on that one. But there are tools like this. And if you have the mindset, with the resources we now have available, yeah, you can do it. Do it. For your sake, for the sake of those whose lives you touch. Thank you for your time. Kamsahamnida. Toodles.